Hi everyone, welcome back in another video. So in this video, it's going to be a little bit different than the other videos. And I want to share with you something that I recently built, and I want to dedicate a video for this because I used this data table for the last project, but now I want to dedicate a full video to share with you this component that I built. So this table is actually one component that has many features that I want to show you in this video. So if you go to the code, as you can see, we're having over 1,000 lines of code to be able to actually create this table and handle everything within it and all the features that we need inside a table, like the filtering, the sorting, the searching, the row selection, and the pagination, and some of the things that I'm going to share with you to make this component modulable. So to be able to access to this table, so all you have to do is go to the blocks section of the Bolt Stack website, and you will find many elements or components, reusable components that you can use. Everything is provided for you guys for free. So, and go to the data table inside the dashboard section and click on data tables. And all you have to do is just copy the code to be able to and paste it into your project. So I'm going to share with you this, but first I want to just share with you and talk about some of the things that you will find in this table. So eventually you could be using the task stack table. So I've used it many times in the old projects, and it is by far the best uh, table library that you can use in the modern web development sphere. And but the a little issue with it, it's a little bit technical, and you need to have some experience with React TypeScript. So, and also the way how it is working, like with the sorting and the filtering and some of the advanced features, it's a bit complicated, and you need to go through their docs, and their docs are not very clear, to be honest with you. So I decided to speed up the process of building a table and to move on into more important stuff to create a component that has all the elements needed, like the sorting, filtering, the searching, the row selection, and also the pagination, everything within a component, and all you have to do to provide some prompts and you are ready to go. And this is what I actually created in this component. So for example, here, like this title and this description are modulable. You can be able to change by the prompt that I'm going to show you. You can hide the search, and also you can link the search state and the set search state, or to make this input controllable or uncontrollable. You can add some stuff in here, and also you can hide the filtering, the sorting, and also all the elements that I'm going to share with you, uh, the logic behind whatever that I'm doing is within the component. So the logic is handled for you. All you have to do is to provide the prompts and also to provide the data. Like here, as you can see, when I click on this category, so the labels inside the drop down are going to be actually rendered automatically based on what we're having inside the table. And also the counting is done automatically for you. And also when I click on the completed, the status, so we're gonna have 2 completed tasks and 5 pending. So when I click on the pending, so I'm going to just see the tasks that have the pending state. And when I click on completed, so I'm going to have only 2 tasks that are completed. And also for the priority, like as I said before, so because we're having 3 labels, the high, the low, and the medium, so this is what we're going to be having inside the dropdown. And also the counting is done for you automatically. So I don't have every time to create a table to actually create the logic behind everything. So that's a time saver, and that's something that I used in my last project called the Study Tracker app. So that's something that I used and it saved me a lot of time. And also when I click on the completed or the sort by, so I'm going to have the drop down. Like here, we're having only the columns that we provided inside the array, and I can click on the category, and as you can see, we're going to have this arrow next to the category, and I can be able to actually change the sorting order. So let me reset the filtering, and as you can see, I can do this, and I can sort by the task. So here we're having the arrow in here just to let the user know this is the column that we are sorting by. And here we're having the search by name, so I can search by name here. So the reason why it's not working because um, here I'm actually searching by priority. So if I do this, as you can see, I'm going to search by priority. But because this project is compiled and is in Versal, so I need to actually change the code source and actually push it into the server to update the changes. But as you can see, everything is working fine. And also we're having the pagination that is handled automatically. And also you can provide with prompts how many rows and also to actually set the default rows per page that it's going to actually set up by default when the table or the project is running. And also we can be able to actually add drop downs. So we're going to have by default these the drop down with the two elements by default, so you don't have to add anything, but you can actually change or handle or update the on-click event listener of these two buttons by using the prompts that I'm going to show you with in this video. So as you can see, we're having all the features, the necessary features needed to be able to actually run a table. And finally, one thing that I didn't show you is the row selection. So when I click on this, so we're going to have how many rows, we can be able to clear the selection. And also we're having this button. So this button doesn't do anything, but I provided a prompt to be able to actually link the on-click event listener, the callback function, outside of the component to be able to actually do the deleting or whatever I want to do. And for example, if I do this, so I'm going to have how many rows are selected. When I click on here, I can be able to select all the rows. And if I do this, all the rows has been cleared. So as you can see, with one go, and provided one prompt, you have this entire table that you can use in any project. And also I made it modulable as much as I could. For example, you can get rid some of the things and want to just use it in a dashboard and just actually show the most important stuff. And also, you can use it extensively in a page and you can use all the features that I'm showing in here. And that's something that I did with my last project and it worked wonders. So I'm going to show you, and also this code is provided for free. So stick with me with till the end of this video to show you how to be able to use this table and save a lot of time while building your projects. Hi everyone, welcome back. So as you can see, I'm running a new project, a Next.js project. So this project, just for demonstration, I called it table demo. And one thing that also I want to share with you to be able to save time to build or to create a project with all the dependencies needed and the dark mode, the Shadcn components. Like for example, if I go to the components folder, I'm going to have all the components related to Shadcn. So I highly recommend to go to the same website, providing a really simple feature and service to be able to create Next.js projects. So you will go through this stepper to be able to actually generate a boilerplate code. All you have to do is to extract the the files and the folders in one folder and type in npm install. Open it up first in your VS Code and type in npm install, and you are ready to go. So I assume that you already know how this is working, but the most important thing that I want to show you is how to use this table. So as you can see here, I created a new route called table, and I created this empty function to be able to actually render this route. So if we go to our application, so this is the route and it's totally empty. So all you have to do right now, so let's go back to the blocks page and specifically to the data table and just copy this code and create a new folder. So I created the inside the components folder the data.table.tsx, so you can call it whatever you want and paste your code here. So as you can see, it is a pretty long code, so don't worry. So you will not update anything in this code, but instead I'm going to show you how to use this component because as I showed you in the project or the table demo, it handles many features for you. So now what I'm going to do here, so the first thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to actually copy or paste the data that we're going to be using. So don't worry, I'm going to go over this what I'm doing in here. So I'm going to paste this code just to save some time. So here we're having the we're having the utility function, so I'm going to get into this. But first, we're having this to-do list headers, which is an object of key and value. So I'm going to show you, and you will know why we are doing so. And here we're having the rows, and also make sure to like the each type of each key has the same type to make sure that everything uh, like uh, like the types of the values are similar to all objects. So after we created the headers and uh, the area of object that we're going to be using, so what I'm going to do in here, I'm going to import the component that we uh, just created. So it is called data table, but we're going to have an error because we need to provide the headers. So if I do this, so we're going to have many components or many prompts for this component, as you can see, because as I showed you, it is a very heavy component. So we're going to start by the headers, and what we're going to do, we're going to actually call this to-do list headers. So let's do this. And also we're going to provide the rows. So all you have to do is type in rows. So we're going to use the rows prompt. And actually, I'm going to copy the example tasks in here and I'm going to paste it in the rows. So after I've done this, so I have to do just go back to the table. So I'm going to reload the page to actually get the data. So this is what we are going to get by default when we provide the headers and when we provide the rows. And one thing that I want to talk about is what this function does. So this is a utility function. It's very simple. Uh, uh, as you may notice, we're using it in here inside the priority. So since I defined uh, like this inside the data table, it's going to be each object is going to be the property, it's going to be string, and the value it's going to be a React node. So to be able to actually make the value of each key flexible, so you can be able to use text, numbers, and also tags or components. So this is what we're doing here to be able to actually render the priorities with the colors. So I created this utility function, and it's going to accept the priority as a string, and based on the keys, so we are going to actually use the values as utility, child utility classes, and we're going to use them inside the class name. So based on the priority that we are provided in here, you will get the specific or the particular color based on the priority that we provided and the prompt. And this is what we're having in the priority column. So it's very straightforward and it's very easy. So now let's talk about some of the prompts and the wonders that this data table does. So one thing that I want to show you, like for example, let's say you want to hide a column. So don't worry, I created a prompt for this. So for example, I want to hide the ID. So all you have to do I created the columns to hide, I think, and this columns to hide it is an array. So I will open up the square brackets, and if I do this, so as you can see, it is type safe. So we're going to actually extract the keys from the actual example tasks array, and you can be able to actually only choose the properties that we provided within each object. So it is completely type safe. And I'm gonna choose ID, and I'm gonna save again the file. So let's go back to our table and let's reload the page. So as we will see, the ID is gone. Let's say, for example, we want to show um, the actions column. So all you have to do is we are going to, I think, show actions column, and I'm gonna say true. And also, if we want to, for example, hide another column, so we can add another element. So let's say due date. So let's say we want to hide the dates. I think they're not important for the user. So we can do this and hit save. And let's actually reload the page. So as you can see, the dates are gone. And notice in the actions column, so if I click on here, as you can see, we're going to have by default the drop down, this drop down with just two elements, but you can be able to actually provide your own drop downs if you want to. And this is what you will have by default. So now, so this is what we're having, and it looks not that good because some of the things that we need to actually add, and don't worry, I provided the prompts for this. So let's start by the actual title and description. So this is very, very simple to do. So all you have to do is add the prompt title, and I'm going to type in tasks dashboard. And also for the description, I'm going to, what I'm going to do, I'm going to do this, or just first open up the curly braces and add the string literals. And what I'm going to do, um, to be able to actually count the numbers of the elements inside the example tasks. So I'm gonna uh, choose the length property, and then I'm gonna add the tasks word, and I saved the file. So let's go back to our table. So as you can see, we're having the elements that I added. So now let's add the search bar. So all you have to do, so I provided an object called search. So this search have an object of these elements. So we're having the key to search by. So if I do this, And I think that also it is completely type safe, so you can choose only the properties that we defined for each object. So I'm going to choose task and I'm going to add the placeholder. So I'm going to add search by name. And finally, because we're having an error because um, we need to provide the search value or the states, which are very important. So, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create state, and I'm gonna just type in search or call them set search and save the file. So let's import the use state from React. So let's do this. And then I'm going to link because this is could be a controlled input. So this is what we are doing. So it's very important to actually provide this and make this mandatory to provide so we can be able to actually make sure that the search is working. So all I have to do is add search or link the search state with the search value. And I'm going to finally add set search with the set search state. So as you can see, the error is gone. And if I go back to our code, so I need to actually turn this component into a client component because it is a default by default um, a server component. So let's save the file and let's go back to our page. So I'm going to reload the page to actually recompile the whole thing. So hopefully that things will work and I'm not going to have any errors. So sorry guys, my PC is a little bit slow. So as you can see, we're having the search name and our search name is working wonderfully. And then I can be able to add a button in here, and I'm going to show you how we can do this. So let's go all the way down to our component. So we're having another prompt called call to action. So this call to action prompt can accept a React node. So here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add a button, and I'm going to call it task. And let's import the button component from shadcn. So as I said, if I hover over call to action prompt, so the property it's of type React Node, so we can be able to accept whatever we want in here. So if I do this, as you can see, we're going to have the add task. And also we can, for example, so another trick that you can do, for example, if you want to add uh, two buttons in here. So all you have to do, just add this button and you can add another button and hit save. You can change the variant, for example. So let's call it ghost. And if I go back in here, so I need to add the flex. So let's add the class name, flex um, item or justify item, uh, justify item center, sorry, item center and gap. So let's save the file. So we should have these two elements like next to each other. So this is a wonderful thing to have. We can be able to actually add the search or the sorting. So all you have to do, so we're having this prompt called sort, and we're having the default property in this object, and you can be able to actually set the sorting by default. So we're gonna add the priority and hit save. And if we go back to the page, so as you can see, the priority it is sorted by default because we're having arrow, uh, this arrow in here, and we can actually um, show the sorting buttons. So because the sorting is not linked with the actual sorting buttons, for whatever reason. For example, you want to make the sorting by default for the priority or for any element. And you don't want to show the sorting because you're showing this into a dashboard. So this is the logic um, that I used. So if I set this true, as you can see, we can be able to access to the sorting, and actually uh, everything is handled for you, so you don't have to add any code whatsoever. So what you are doing is adding some prompts. So I'm going to actually add the filter by, and I think that we're having uh, so probably the filter by prompt doesn't have. So I think that the filter by. So let's go to the data table to see what the filter by is doing. So I'm gonna all the way up. So the filter by, it is an array. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm going to open up the curly braces or the square brackets, and I'm going to add only the elements that I want to show as drop down. So if I want to show the category drop down, so all I have to do is to do this and save the file and reload the page. So as you can see, we're having the category drop down, and the beauty of this, when I click on the category, as you can see, I'm having everything lined up automatically with the counting without having to do anything like in terms of coding. And I can click on learning, and as you can see, the actual filtering is working really well. So I can be able to actually customize this by adding more stuff inside the array. And as I said, it is type safe, so I can add the completed, and I can add, for example, um, created at, for example, even though that the row is hidden, but I think that it is not going to be shown because it is part of the columns to hide. That's something that I programmed. I think no, it's not something that I need to actually add, I think. But for the most part, everything is working as expected, and the filtering is working well, and I can click on reset all, and the filtering of the data is working. And I'm going to show you another thing, how to be able to add the rows. So all you have to do is enable, I think we can be able to change the height of the rows. So I can do 89 pixel, for example, and reload the page. So as you can see, the row height uh, changed, and also I can and also another thing that I want to show you is the is loading. So I added the skeleton animation automatically. So as you can see, we're having the skeleton. So for example, if you are fetching data, you can create the loading and the set is loading states, and you can link them with the is loading prompt, waiting for the data to be fetched. So that's something that I added, I took into account, and also um, we're having the show check boxes. So the show check boxes, it is an object that has two properties, the enable. So when I click on add the enable property and set it to true and reload the page. So as you can see, we're having the table and everything is working as expected. So the page is compiling. So as you can see, everything is working as expected. And the final thing I'm going to show you is the pagination. So as you can see, the component is pretty heavy and there are some of the prompts that I didn't show you, but I'm going to show you the most important stuff in here. And finally, we're having the pagination. So the pagination, it is also an object, I think. So rows per page. So we can do this and let's save. So when you add the pagination automatically at the bottom, as you can see, the pagination is going to be added. So uh, let me get rid from the row height to be able to see the data clearly. So as you can see, we're having the rows per page. So if I click on this, so this is going to be changing automatically the pages, the number of pages, and also you can be able to actually change the numbers that you're having in here. And I'm going to show you how to do so. Pagination rows array, and I can add 2, 8, and let's say 56 and save the file. So as you can see, the array or the numbers inside the select dropdown has changed automatically and everything is uh, working. So as you can see, this table, it's going to save you a lot of time and many of the most important features that you can find in any table already done for you. So all you need to do is to provide the prompts as I showed you, to provide the data I showed you in this video, and you are ready to go. And you can actually customize this as you want, depending on where you want to place your table. Want to place it in the dashboard, you want to place it in a page like this. So it's up to you. And this is what I've done so far in this table. So I'm really proud with this project. And I didn't build it myself, to be honest with you. I used AI a lot to build this component. But I learned so many advanced features, especially with TypeScript, and this is provided for free as I showed you, as I talked about in the beginning at the beginning of this video, and hopefully that this will help you a lot. And if you have some suggestions, uh, leave them down below in the comment section of this video. Let me know what you think about this component and what are the features that probably you want me to add in this actual table. So again, thank you guys for watching this video. So you can find the link of this website and the down below in the description. It is totally free.